What's up, folks? My name is William Walford here with Trucker's Delight on our second segment of Newsflash Fridays. I am joined here by Marie Brownhill and Robin Alyssa, aka our Oreo on Discord, and aka for Marie, aka our Queen, Her Majesty. So I hope everyone is doing good. I hope everyone is doing great. I hope everyone is staying safe because we have a lot to go into for our news segment. So if Marie would take us in with what does today signify in terms of Trek history?
So, in terms of Trek history, today, December 10th, in case this airs differently, which it will, in 1966, there was an open letter published by a group of science fiction writers to everyone who happened to be a TOS fan saying, hey, it looks like the show is going to get canceled. And that's when, all of a sudden, the Joe Trimble and the rest of the ladies started their letter writing campaign, which is now the stuff of legend. And if we're going to go into our moment in Trek timeline history, if you remember the Expanse, this is the day theoretically when the Vulcan ship went missing that eventually T'Pol and the Enterprise NX-01 will find. So those are your tidbits of random information, and I think our big topic for today is Nichelle Nichols.
The queen herself.
Yes. So before, yeah, I love Nichelle Nichols. She is like, it's just like, whereas Marie is like the queen over Trekker's Delight. It's
Oh no no
like,
no 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 no! I cede all crowns and bow at the feet of Nichelle Nichols, and she is
yeah,
such
Nichelle is like the queen of all Trek. It's
yeah,
just
and she
like,
is so gracious and so just deeply deeply sweet. I've had the distinct pleasure of actually meeting her, and it is, you know how sometimes you meet like one of these people and they're
hmm
not what you thought they might be. Nichelle Nichols just blows it all out of the water.
what happened with your experience? Like, what's the story?
I mean, she was remarkably. I mean, I was standing in the autograph line at Dragon Con, and she had to be a little bit late because she's older, and it takes her a lot of time to get from place to place. And she apologized to each of us individually because she thought we might have a problem. I was just
No,
kind of like, no, no, no.
no.
This is Atlanta.
You're
We
making an entrance.
understand how to treat elders in this
Yes,
in
we
Atlanta.
understand. We understand color people time.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'll say it for you, Marie.
I was about to say, like, this is literally a joke you can make. I can't touch it. I mean, considering that the only pigment I actually have comes out of a bottle that a gay man puts in my hair, like I can't really do anything.
Walking away from that one.
I don't have my water with me. Okay. I don't have my water with me. I had so much kinetic energy, I didn't know what to do with it. Oh my god. I was not ready, guys. I was not ready for that one. I was not ready for that one. It's just like, this is why she's the queen in Trekker's Delight. This is why. This is why. Okay,
Because
and
apparently I have no
get this.
filter.
She established this in week one that she could talk a heavy. She could talk. That's all I could say. But okay.
But yeah, no, I
Right.
mean, Nichelle Nichols is just fantastic.
Right.
And everybody, I mean, she of course will be 89 years old at the end of December, and unfortunately is stepping back from Trek fandom and her like appearance schedule and that kind of thing, which is certainly a well earned retirement. But we are certainly going to miss her. And at her very last convention appearance, she was actually honored by NASA.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Robin has some personal insight on that.
Yes. Please take it away, Robin.
So, it's not me personally, it's my mom. So, when my mom was in high school, so this was way back in like the 80s, 70s, late 70s, early 80s, she actually got into a NASA program here in DC, and they had a bunch of different guests. So, I think they had Mary Johnson, if you guys have watched Hidden
Hmm.
Figures. And they also brought in Nichelle Nichols. And to this day, in my mom's house, I'll have to, hopefully I can find it so that I can bring it so we can add it to the production,
Yes,
materials and
yes.
stills and things like
Please send me the photos, please.
but my mom, and this group of other like 60 Black women that got accepted into this program, she has a picture with Nichelle Nichols. And to this day, part of the reason at least, my mom is a physicist, why I like Star Trek, why, she instilled that in me and my brother, and that love is because of that interaction, right? Like,
I mean, beyond even the fact that she did so much work with programs like you're talking about, because she became
Yeah.
actually a STEM ambassador to African American communities to basically bring people like your mom into STEM. Um, but even beyond that, having her on the bridge in
yeah,
1963.
Ooh, that was a huge one.
yeah,
And I actually have a story to follow with that because it's like I like how each of our stories takes us back further and further and further. And I have a story there too. But um Robin, what was that like the rest of the story for your mom's interaction?
yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say, and years later when we went to AwesomeCon, we did not have that same experience with William Shatner, but that is for a different tea dropping day. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I actually remember, oh man, I think it was 2016.
Mm.
And Nichelle Nichols, she came to Little Rock, Arkansas. I I don't know where I was. It was either 2016 or 2018. I'm gonna bet 2018. It was one of the teens. That's beside the point. But anyway, well, the point is, all I knew was I need to see this woman. I need to meet her. But what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? And because not only would I be meeting the icon of Trek, not a icon, but the icon of Trek, it's actually my first Comic Con period. Yeah, it was my first. It was my very first.
God.
And I
There's nothing
felt,
like your first.
oh, and it was, man. So it was a crazy experience because I felt like, oh my god, I don't have a costume. I outgrew my Darth Vader one, but I'm going there to represent Trek, so I can't do that. So it's like, what do I do? And so I'm just like, you know what? I ain't got time to be having cosplay right now. It's gonna cost money. I can't. I'm a broke bitch, and so I'm gonna go there, pay my money to have a picture with her because I know it's gonna cost, and I'm gonna pay whatever because that money better go towards her in some way. That's all I know, you know. So I was more than willing to pay, and I think it was, I don't know how many dollars it was. It might have been 30, 40, 50. I don't know. But they took my phone and they took a picture with us. I purposely made sure my lens was clean and that the filter was good and that everything was straight because I'm like, I'm a photographer in my main business. So it's like, you know what, I have my camera and I don't have time to really give them the rundown of that. So here's my phone. Please do not cut our heads off. Don't hold it sideways. Don't hold it long ways. I hate that. Do not do that. Make it sideways so that way I can make it a cover photo, make it decent. Um, and so one of her representatives was there when I finally found her, and some lady said, "So, what's your name?" I said, "My name's William," and she said, "Cool. Why would you want to meet Nichelle Nichols?" And I said, "You know, I've actually been thinking about that the whole drive here, and I don't know what I want to say except thank you, because here's the backstory."
Oh my God, William! Like you're turning into the Discovery writers because I'm gonna cry over in this corner. So like I'm gonna need you to be funny now.
I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, it's just like you have to, the thing is like she is here and all I just wanted to, I didn't even know that I would get to hold her hand. And I'm sure I'll show the photo in this segment, but I didn't even know I'd get to hold her hand. And so they asked, "Well, what do you want to be?" I said, "I want to be a film actor, just like her." like not just in Trek, but also outside of Trek. She played a number of things. She was into musical theater, y'all. The woman can sing.
Mhm.
She can sing. Like, I don't even know why they cut her voice out in Star Trek Five. Now that was a mistake.
There were
But
so many things about that movie.
oh god,
That's really the least of it.
that's the least of it,
No
right?
offense to Ms. Nichols, none
Right.
intended.
God, it's just one of the many offenses. But yeah, so back in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, she was actually prepared to leave
To
after a
leave.
few episodes of
Mhm.
the first season because naturally, and you know what, no one could blame her, because of the times you have a woman. That's first and foremost. That's like clear cut and dry on the bridge, which Christopher Pike had made in his misogynistic remark. I'm not used to having a woman on the bridge. Now in our later episode, we have a woman of color who does not serve anyone except Starfleet, which is kind of like a generalized thing, so that doesn't really count as a subservient maidish role. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, Kirk was serving Starfleet too, so it's just like, whatever. Well, anyway, it wasn't a black role. It wasn't a colored role. It wasn't a made role. It was an equal role. And Marie pointed this out a couple of episodes ago, and what Whoopi said, "Mama, there's a black woman on screen, and she ain't no maid."
Mhm. Which is why Whoopi Goldberg eventually
Whoopi Goldberg.
contacts the folks at TNG and asks to be on the show because she'd been a fan forever. I gotta say, like, if we're gonna have a moment with Nichelle Nichols, I think my favorite line of hers, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe she ad-libbed, was in The Naked Time. And it's when Sulu has the sword and is like a vast fair lady, and Uhura just looks at him and says, "Sorry, neither," and refuses to have anything to do with his nonsense. And that's an incredible moment, right? I mean, because this is the 60s. She's literally saying, I don't have to be a lady, nor do I have to be white. Neither of these things necessarily needs to be true. And that's such a powerful moment that I think gets kind of glossed over sometimes when, I mean, we think about all the wonderful things she did on TOS and also in the animated series. Yeah, I went there. I did.
Okay.
The
I have a
Lorelei
soft
signal.
spot for the animated series. It's a very soft one, but a soft spot.
Yeah. There are moments. There are really good moments, and then there are like, okay, that was a choice moments. I mean, even taking into account that it's 70s animation, like even taking that into account. But yeah, I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, even over like the kiss and Plato's stepchildren, but just this moment when she's basically telling Sulu and by extension viewers, again, I don't have to be a lady in the whole conversation that you're having. She actually owns this, her sexuality here, which is huge. And then also owns the fact that she doesn't have to be white. That the default setting does not have to be white. And then she keeps her power in that moment, in that episode, beautifully.
That's well done. That is well done. And fun fact: Martin Luther King was a Trekkie because of her.
Yeah, his kids loved TOS.
It was the only reason he let his kids stay up late at night, because it aired at some point during the week at like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, wow. Which, if you think about it, this probably influenced the speeches and the philosophical standpoint of Martin Luther King even more.
Well, he called her up.
And not to mention his I Have a Dream.
Yeah,
right?
No.
So there's so much that goes to it. And he said to her, you cannot quit. You cannot leave. If you have to understand where you are right now and what this will mean. And so now the icons that millennials and Gen Z look up to today were influenced by the Nichelle Nichols of the time. So that moment is huge. So when I finally, to finish the story, then we got to move on into updates. To finish the story, I said I wanted to be an actor. Still do. Haven't changed my mind about that. Have a plan in place to reach there. This is actually part of it. Thank you, Trucker's Delight. but,
I'm not. I'm gonna hide behind my picture of Spock.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I did like one semester of theater in college, and I was like a background character to a background character. So we're good.
I'm there. I'm there with you.
Yeah. But she of course her representative, whoever the lady was, introduced me as William Wofford. He wants to be an actor, and he just wants to say hi. And I'm quoting at this point. Nichelle said to me, "Well, hello, Mr. Actor." I was like, and I was like,
oh my gosh, you should have recorded that.
I'm sorry, you two.
I'm gonna hide my emotions behind my bourbon.
I'm like, breathe, bitch, breathe. I'm like, what is your name? What is my name? Oh my God. So it's just like in that moment, it's like,
you should have recorded that. That is priceless.
It's like, hello, Mr. Actor. It's just like I'm putting that on a fucking shirt one day, because I have never forgotten that. I will, when I go to the gates of St. Peter, I will meet that woman there before I meet my mama. So that being said, sorry, but for real though, I said, look, I know your story. I've heard it 1,000 times. I've even included it in a documentary I made for my senior project in college and I graduated with a degree in theater and another one in film and a minor in music, because you were one of my inspirations. Every time Black History Month comes around, not to say I ignore Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King, I focus on you the most, because in terms of cinema, you progressed African American representation more than anyone in 100-year time span, and that is huge. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
And she said, "You're welcome, baby."
She's lovely. She's just legitimately lovely.
And so she let me hug her. And actually, it was a mutual hug. It wasn't even like a side hug. It was like an embrace. And I'm just like, and this was before COVID, so it was like a real hug. So I was like, oh my God. And she held, it was this hand, it was my left hand. You can see it was this hand, okay? And we just held hands, and I will show the picture, I swear to God. But Maria, I think you already saw it in the group chat a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just holding hands, and she's wearing like this green pearl ring on her finger and wearing this beautiful jewelry. She always rocks the jewelry, whether it's handmade or Trek. It's just, she rocks it. And I'm just like, and I'm just and so in my head, while I'm trying to savor this moment, while I'm trying to soak it in, I'm literally thinking about this woman who has my phone in her hand, praying that if I paid this amount of money for it, you better get this right, because I am taking this literally to my grave. So you better get it right. But anyway,
never let it be said that William minces words. Never let it be said. I mean, understatement is not his gift.
But that is our Nichelle Nichols thing. And so while we have a few minutes left on the show to talk about updates, well, Marie, was there anything else left for?
No, I think we need to. I agree. I think we need to segue into the announcements, because you guys have a huge and really fantastic announcement to make about additions to Trekker's Delight.
So, guys, starting. Well, if you haven't seen it already or will see it, because you know this episode might be a little bit time displaced. Sorry, just time that a little bit. We are actually, from this point, from the recording date being December 10th, we are going to start Black Trek, which airs this Monday, I believe is 11th and the 12th, so it'll be the 12th. and it'll be
Mhm.
our final addition to Trekker's Delight because recently we realized that there's a lot of things that we really need to discuss openly in an open platform where we can just speak. I remember telling Jermaine, "Hey, if we don't sound like we're in a black beauty shop or a black barber shop, I don't want to do it." so so that's the only way you're gonna get me. So he said, William, do it. And I'm just like, and he'll be on there as well from time to time as well, to put in the input, because Nichelle Nichols is just like, it's actually perfect because this is actually why we're doing this, because it stems from Nichelle Nichols. She was the one that started it all, that led to what we have now. And we're not, even though we'll talk about African American actors, we're mainly talking about African American representation in the show. Jordy, Cisco, it's like, yeah, thank you. So Michael Byrne. So it goes on and it goes on and goes on. No matter where, what planet, or what ship they were raised on, they are still African Americans by definition in terms of how we see things here in the past compared to them. So yes, that will be our news segment. It will interchange with LGB Trek on Mondays. So LGB Trek will air 2 times on Mondays, and Black Choke will air 2 times on Mondays as well, interchanging. No different than on Wednesdays, where we have What If Wednesdays and Fight the Patriarchy, which is led by our beautiful queen Marie Brownhill. So I had to switch it, but yeah. But
don't let's not forget that William and Robin are along for the ride on that one too. And occasionally drag me kicking and screaming into enlightenment. So
that and then also I want to formally welcome Robin into the show.
Right.
This is her 3rd show as of this moment, and we are so glad to have her input. And she, not only is she a beautiful woman of color, she is also part of the community as well. So Robin, if you would just talk a little bit about yourself, just give me a snippet, who are you, what's going on, what brought you onto the show?
Okay, so I am, as you said, a beautiful member of the Rainbow Squad here, as well as a part of the Black community. I'm such a huge fan of sci-fi and just nerd culture in general. You can't really see my bookshelf behind me, but literally I have a little bit of a piece of everything under the sun: Doctor Who, comics, and then there's Star Trek. And I have such a very personal relationship with Star Trek, and that's kind of what brought me here. I mentioned my mom and how my mom is the catalyst, right? I grew up, sleeping in her bed watching Enterprise in the middle of the night. The song is ingrained in my head because I literally, as I was sleeping, that's what would be playing.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's
okay. I'm so sorry. I mean, I say this as someone who owns the MP3, so maybe.
I actually well up a little bit. It makes me feel like I want to go to sleep and oh, it's time for bed. It's been a long time.
Also, oh my God, it hurts me that you were growing up with Enterprise. I just want to say that.
Yes. Yeah. Enterprise would have, if I was watching Trek, that little Enterprise would have been the show I started with. But my favorite is probably TNG, with a little bit with Deep Space Nine thrown into it. And then I've been binging with my beautiful partner who went to bed, but was making noise in the background. And you probably saw it in the kitchen over here. We've been watching TOS and Voyager as well. So we've been, getting a little bit closer watching Star Trek because they've never seen it ever. This rewatch we're doing is their first experience with Star Trek. And I'm just over here going yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we literally
DS9.
just named
Jadzia is fine.
I mean, yeah, for real. Yes, but and so is 7. Let's also not ignore that.
So is 7.
Yeah, but now we need a segment. We need a segment with so that your partner can discuss their reactions.
actually have very strong feelings. We've been
This is my shocked face.
and like digging up some like very weird Star Trek gems is great. Like, I think the other night we were watching, I don't know, maybe Conspiracy, and then just having them experience it for the first time, and then me just
Oh
going,
my gosh,
"Oh yeah."
the worm, and it never comes back. Fortunately, somebody was like, "Yeah, no, that didn't work. Let's just under the rug, under the rug."
No comment.
Yeah, that's really literally what
You
I have to
can't
say.
tell
Like,
me you love that episode. You can't. Nobody loves the slug episode. Nobody.
look, I have some weird
that's why I say
favorites.
No. This is a safe space. This is an honest space.
My mama said, if I have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah. So did my mom, but we see how well that took.
Guys, this is literally us. This is us. This is like it's real chill. It's real super chill. But Robin, thank you so much for that. Marie, could you go into us briefly about how we have developed compared to the last week, in terms of shows and what we have throughout the days of the week? I know I kind of like spotted on it, but
yeah, like the big announcement obviously is the addition of Black Trek, which is going to be a tremendous addition, not only to Trekker's Delight, but I think to the fandom in general, because I think it's going to be a really awesome discussion that is filling a real void, to be honest. But also we do have LGBT Trek on Mondays. We have Trek Tuesdays. I think we're coming up actually on our first FTP episode, in which we are going to cover the most racist hour of television that I've ever seen, outside of, say, Leni Riefenstahl movies. Then there's going to be Thursday, which obviously is going to be our week delayed live show, and Friday is going to be Newsflash Friday. All kinds of great content coming your way. We'd really, really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and follow, possibly tell your friends, bring everybody to the live show on Thursday, because we really love interacting with other people. Obviously. Obviously, we like talking. So please mark that on your calendar and join us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Please do. Guys, we are open to comments. We are open to suggestions. We are open to show coverage ideas. If there is something that you want us to cover or want us to discuss, a hypothetical, a what if scenario, or possible hidden representation that we might have missed or don't know about or guessed on, however you want to put it, please let us know. The four main showrunners are Marie Ronhill herself, myself, William Walford, Manny, we call him Manny. His name is Manhale, and then you have Jermaine Watson. So, please message us. Let us know on Trekker's Delight. Again, me and Marie are your hosts for today's. I apologize. See how easy it is to just apologize for something you slip up on. But all right, so that's our host for today for Newsflash Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Live long and prosper.
And stay delighted in Trek.
Douches.